Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning.
And I'm Trinity French.
And we are your business coaches at Wired to Change.
With the number 2.
We help you get your business to the level you want it to be so you can live the life of a small business owner.
And what a great life it is.
It's been 2 weeks since we've taped.
It has.
Last week was weird. When I walked in, I saw Drago and felt like, you remember how everybody complained that March was so long? All the memes on Facebook and everything. And now with April, I mean, we're at April 30th here, but it's been 2 weeks since we've seen each other. I've missed you. So
I missed you too. And in the 2 weeks since we've been together face to face, you've grown a beard and hair.
I know. Shaved my head completely. Oh, I forgot about the beard. Yeah. So I figured, what the heck? I'll see what it looks like. It's a lot of gray. So on camera, it doesn't come across yet, but it's there. So, because what else you can do at the house, right?
Yeah.
So
I like it.
Yeah. So anyways, off of a 2-week break, we thought we better re-announce our presence with authority. So we brought in the Goosehead guys, Goosehead Insurance, Scott, Rutter, and Dyrke Maricle. Gentlemen, glad to have you here today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We get points for getting you out of the house.
Appreciate it.
Whatever happens. Whatever said, you're out of the
wives
house.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Your wife appreciates it.
Well, we are super pumped. I have been a big fan of Scott's for a very long time. We were introduced by a mutual friend, and I just had heard nothing but good things. And Dyrke, I've heard a lot about you.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, So this is going to be an interesting podcast today to dig in and really get to know the real guys behind the Goosehead.
Dyrke has the young guy problem during coronavirus. He can't get his hair cut.
I can't.
And he has hair to cut.
I do.
And that's a problem. But he wears nice hats. So if you see him within the next month, he'll probably still be wearing that.
Just look for the shiny red afro.
If you drive to Tennessee or Georgia, I think you can get your hair cut starting May 1.
I'm not there yet. I'd say, I've never had my hair this long, so I'm just kind of seeing what happens.
Well, you look handsome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think that is actually one of the unifying factors of all of our guests is that they're all extremely good looking.
Yes.
Because, you just have to hang out with extremely good-looking people at all times, because why not?
Game respects game, right?
Right?
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that, because Goosehead, where the corporate headquarters is in Westlake, Texas, I swear, the screening process, everybody's beautiful. I mean, guys and girls.
Dallas suburbs,
It's just, everybody is good-looking. It's crazy.
My first job out of college was at the University of Texas in Austin. And this was the old Southwest Conference. I won't bore everybody, but it's Texas A&M, TCU, SMU, all those, Houston, all those schools in the same conference. So we'd go to Fort Worth, we'd go to Dallas, we went to Waco and Lubbock and all that. I'm with you, man. The Texas girls. I married one, so I did well, but yeah.
Yeah, I kid you not. I think they brought Scott and I on just to flatten the curve a little bit. Yeah.
And there's video of this, just not any that will be printed on our end. They have their own video. So
Well, let's put it this way. They'll sell a franchise to anybody, but we definitely wouldn't have been hired for corporate.
No,
definitely not.
when you applied, they didn't want your picture. they just want your financial statements.
That's exactly right.
Well, nothing wrong with that.
And we've definitely all married up. Scott's
yeah.
married up.
Oh, yeah.
I've married up.
Yeah.
So we are very blessed.
I'm pleased.
I'll make sure that he listens to every podcast.
He does.
But we'll make sure that he makes note of that.
So at any
but
point,
he knows it.
At any point in time, you want to say hi to Scott, just again, we say what we say here. So this is the first of a couple episodes we're going to do with you guys because there's a lot to dig into. First of all, you guys, kind of like us, you guys come from different backgrounds. So how did you meet? How did you guys get together? What's the genesis of this?
And before we get started, will you introduce yourselves so that way people know which voice is which?
Ah, very good.
Yeah, I'm Dyrke Maricle, with, I guess, one of the good-looking Goosehead guy.
Yeah, fair.
It's probably the way, that you guys can kind of remember me.
There's about to be a brawl.
Oh, there is.
And I'm J. Scott Rutter, the other Goosehead guy.
So you can remember the louder voice and the quieter voice, and that probably will help you separate the two.
Perfect.
So, but good call. Good
Hey,
call. So,
you know what? I'm just here to keep things in order and
air
on
traffic
track.
control.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you guys get together under Goosehead?
Yeah, sure. So we met about a year ago at my financial advisor's mixer, which was at a brewery. I believe it was Raleigh Brewing, if I'm not mistaken. And so, one of the things that I found in Dyrke is I was new to my role in banking with First Citizens, and Dyrke was relatively new to his, Goosehead franchise. And so, I saw him out there shaking hands, kissing babies, and figured, hey, he's somebody that's aggressive, he's hustling, he's out there. That's somebody I want to kind of, do things with, networking with, and everything. So then, I had an idea about starting a Rockstar franchise. And so we bought into that, partnered up on that. And, I just saw how incredibly well that, Dyrke's been doing with the business, and how, as one person, he could only handle but so much. And, the problem with banking is I was capped to what I can make. And I'm a very driven person, so I don't want to be capped to what I can make. And the only person that can hold me back now is myself. So it just
and I think that was the thing too. Like Scott, he stayed on me. That's one thing you're going to learn about Scott is he's very good at follow up. And I remember one day because we were doing networking, it was going really well, and the Rockstar was just. I mean, we had great numbers, and I mean, it was just a really good time. We worked really, really well together. I think, and what you're going to see, and probably we'll dive into this a little bit later, is that, our skills and our weaknesses both kind of counter each other, which makes for a good partnership. I push him in areas that he needs to be pushed in, and he pushes back in areas that I need to be pushed in. But I think we saw that very quickly in how we worked with each other at Rockstar. And it just kind of led into one other thing, and he just kept asking me, saying, "Hey, what if you ever thought about having a business partner, I'd be interested." And I was just like, "Oh, I can't even think about that right now." And then Scott would come back, "Hey, if you ever think about having a business partner, I think I'd be interested."
Since the last time I asked you if you thought
about 5 minutes ago, and so but as you sit back and look, and if you're ever thinking about trying to, who do you want to go into business with? You do want somebody that does challenge you, but yet somebody that's going to work harder than you. And I think I've been in a lot of different business situations to where I have hired people that wanted to work maybe a quarter as hard as I do. Mm-hmm. But when you sit there and meet somebody that works just as hard as you do, as not harder, then you got to take advantage of that. And I think that's what we realized that we need to do something together. And if we got going at full speed, look out.
That's awesome. Somewhat consistent with us. We met, what are we going on, a year-ish since we've known each other about?
Yeah, we probably should have celebrated our anniversary.
We will. Well, I'm going to start tonight. Thanks for the bottle of Rain vodka. We met, I was a consulting director for BNI, if anybody doesn't know Business Networking International. I was a consulting director for Trinity's chapter, which I'm now a member of. We met, and I think a lot probably with you guys is you meet somebody and you're like, man, there's something here. And you talk a little bit more and you go, oh, yeah. And it doesn't take long, right? Once you two started talking.
Well, again, I guess for us, he was definitely hard to grow on me. So, and he might feel the same way. So it wasn't that instant love attraction like you guys had.
Okay.
So just because we are so, bipolar opposite, if you will, one spectrum to the other. So again, it took a little bit of time.
All right.
Dyrke's got such a big heart, and spiritually, things are aligned, and again, he's a great father and husband, and family is a big admirer of his. So, people can be misperceived, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what you guys will find out more about Dyrke, right, today.
That's
what we hope to expose.
Oh, we're gonna dig in.
I'm feeling this is a setup.
You didn't see this coming. It's on video right here.
The memo.
When did you want to make the jump out of banking? A, out of banking, and B, into insurance?
Basically, banking, how that whole thing came about, I got recruited off of LinkedIn. I was with SunTrust Bank for 2 years, and then again had a dream position with First Citizens Bank, and found myself with no experience doing very, very well with both organizations. And I knew if I stayed in banking, I was going to become a financial advisor. And again, insurance, it's one of those things where every living, breathing person, if you drive something, if you rent something, you have to have it, right? The farming process for financial advisor would have taken a much longer time. Plus, I don't find myself that smart, so it would have been a lot more compliance, a lot more testing and everything else. So obviously, I wish I would have started in my 20s, right?
Says all of us.
Yes. Because my godfather did very, very well in the insurance business. But yeah, it checked all the boxes for me. So again, being a relationship guy, again, always looking to provide value in everything I do. And I think really I'm advantaged not having the experience, just like I was in banking. So you don't have those bad habits like people that have been in the industry for a long time have, especially when they've started to jump around. So, and really what I like is being able to have the potential to build a legacy to where I can not only set up a good lifestyle for my family, but also be able to do more charity. I do a lot of charity now
Yep.
with time, volunteerism, but I want to be able to financially give back too. And I think that with hard work, you can get yourself to that point because, again, you make the relationship, you keep them as a client, you continue to get paid year over year. So.
And this goes back to one of the things Trinity's been preaching since we met was, and it took me a while to understand it when she said, "Oh, you're a career evolutionist." And it makes perfect sense now, and it sounds a lot for your track to Goosehead, right? It's like, yes, kind of, but that way, and then just kind of found your calling, right? It sounds like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of people embracing all of the skills and the experience that they've learned along the way and applying it to their next endeavor. And I think so often when people make a career change, and I'm using air quotes over here because you're discounting all of this experience that you have before. Just because you're changing industries or you're changing whatever, it doesn't mean that the management and the leadership and the follow-up skills that you had that made you successful in one arena aren't just as important in the next endeavor that you're going on. So that's why I've repositioned in what we do is we coach people that want to be a career evolutionist, not a career changer, so they can really stand on the confidence that comes from all the things that you kicked ass at before you got into insurance.
You're absolutely right. There's so much truth to that, 100%. And I mean, again, it's really just giving a crap about what you do. It's caring for people and, not just doing, a half-ass job. If you're going to do a job, do it right. If not, don't do it at all. And when you have that compassion, you have people's best interest at heart, it's always going to pay dividends and people really appreciate that. It's what I call the holistic approach. I took that in banking, again, went over and beyond the call of duty to tell them the things that most bankers wouldn't take the time to explain. And same thing in insurance. I mean, I still don't know my ass from my elbow, but I'm figuring it out every single day. And I've got, a good partner that has a decade of experience to be able to leverage and bounce off of. So,
are you glad you're not doing PPP loans right now?
Oh my God. I'm still very in touch with all of my best friends still in the banking industry. And they're
if they have time
ready
to
jump
answer,
off a bridge. Oh my God.
Our banker too. Yeah, Cherie Brown at South State is our banker. And in our BNI chapter, just the look on her face is just, like with most things, you don't see this coming. You saw, okay, apply for these loans, here's the process, and then, oh man. Oh, feel for the banker. So,
well, no, because nobody knows what they're doing. It's just, again, they're doing the best they can possibly do. But as consumers, we're frustrated, right? How can a bank not know what they're doing? But yeah, so it's a challenging time. It's tough.
You and I have already done a podcast together, Dyrke, so I know part of your story, which is great. The fact that you didn't remember who you beat in the Division III National Championship game still sticks in my head.
Sorry.
He was quoting like
made up
movie lines from somewhere, and you can't remember who they beat. But your background is Goodwill. Your background is State Farm, and now you've got your own insurance. Was that the plan one day to have your own company, and then once you got into insurance, to have your own insurance agency?
Never. I don't think you ever, like, you get out of college and you're ready to go, and the first thing that you say is, I cannot wait till I get my own insurance agency. I literally would love to meet the person that comes out saying that.
I feel the same way about real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everything that I've done has been an accident. But, I do feel that God has a purpose for us. And I mean, I think regardless of the accident, technically it's not an accident, but you're going down, the path that he has in store for you. And you just, sometimes you just got to hold on and trust that that's what you're supposed to be doing. And for me, my degree is in history, political science, secondary education. I taught for 2 years. I loved it. I thought it was great. I loved the students. I loved the parents. Could not stand the other teachers. We did this in Illinois. Strong union-based, teachers, and couldn't eat in the same, cafeteria area with them because I wasn't a tenured teacher. And so, all of that stuff just kind of soured me to where I had a headhunter that gave me a call one day and said, I've got an opportunity for you if you'd want to try it. Have you ever thought about selling commercial floor covering? Like, I have no clue what you're talking about, but how much does it pay? And he immediately in one day doubled my salary, gave me a car allowance, and all I had to do was go around and say hi to people and build a relationship with them and have them buy what I was selling. That's easy, no problem. I had to get 20 kids to like me every single day. If I could do that, this is stupid nuts. I can do this. So I did. I sold commercial flooring for a lot of different companies for a while, all the way up, probably Mohawk being the last one that I represented. Learned a lot of great experience, but I think I also learned too that I wanted to be a good dad and a good husband, and that career didn't allow me to do it. I was gone all the time, put in situations that probably weren't the best for a young kid that was making a lot of money, and made that decision that I was willing to make a lot less if I got the chance to be with my family. And that's when I took a job working with Goodwill, and I worked for a few years with Goodwill running their retail divisions in Central Illinois, and then eventually in the Chicago, Milwaukee area. And just enjoyed that. But again, it taught me that sometimes, and I don't say this bad, but I think people need to realize when you don't play well in the sandbox with others, I think that's something that you need to admit to yourself. And I mean, for me, sitting in corporate America, I mean, I was doing, I wanted to do this and I want to do that. And I was, and I kept being told, stay in your own lane. Don't do that. I was like, well, no, but my business is affected by what they do and they're not doing their job. So I'm going to do their job and it's going to make my business. But no, you can't do that. We'll deal with them separately. And I couldn't understand that for the life of me. And I kept getting in trouble and it just got to the point where I need to do something different. I need to do something that is mine. And at the end of the day, I have to look in the mirror and I don't have a CEO that's telling me what to do. I have to look at myself and say, you succeeded today or you failed today, you idiot. Why? And what are you going to do tomorrow to make that different? And that's what I knew that's what I wanted to do. Then the question was just, what do I do? And it was actually my mother-in-law. I'll give her credit. She said, you need to go into insurance, Dyrke. And I was like, what? I was like, oh, no, not insurance. I mean, those are the guys that, that's Ned Ryerson from Groundhog Day. I'm not, I don't want to do that. Those guys are hated. She said, tell me an insurance guy that you don't know. You were with State Farm at the time. And, your agent is duck hunting 2 months out of the year. He's, they're living great. And that's what you want to do. So I was like, all right, well, I wouldn't mind duck hunting 2 months out of the year. So let's look at that. And that's when we finally got to just kind of do the research. And I knew that this is a great opportunity. It's a business that is somewhat recession proof just because people do always need what you have to offer. And if you can align yourself with a company that gives people that value, then you're always going to be needed.
I've heard that blueprint that he just said for a minute and a half somewhere. I'm thinking, where have I heard, damn it, I'm going to run my own life.
Yep.
The lot of how she got where she is today, same thing.
Yeah. I have worked myself out of every job I ever had because I was too bossy. I was always implementing new systems and processes and making things better. And when people would say, don't do this, that was not that was not the thing. Yes, if you tell me not to do something, I'm gonna be like,
harder you're gonna push.
I am going to absolutely make that happen. So I completely agree with your mindset and also the struggles that come from trying to put yourself, it's like putting a round peg in a square hole. Because I did not fit in the corporate world. I excelled there, but I was never fully happy. Being in business for myself, so much better.
And I don't know with you, it sounds like you two, a lot the way we are is the goals are roughly the same, the values are the same. But what I noticed early on working with Trinity, and by the way, I left the pest control world to go work with her. That's the connection we had. But the speed of pace you want to move and the goals and the visions and everything. If you have one of you is like, man, I'm fired up, ready to go. And the other one goes, I'll be back with you on Friday. I mean, that's going to last about an hour and a half. And that's one of the things that we connected with. And you don't talk about it, but you just see it. When we're together, the enthusiasm rate, we raise each other's levels up because we get fired up on stuff and we want to achieve this. And it's hard to find people like that.
It is. So many people are not driven. And again, that's the thing. We're both very competitive in all that we do. So, and I usually beat him at a lot of things. So.
just rock climbing at rush hour. That's all.
And go-karting.
Well, I've got about 40 pounds on you, so I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but...
You should be able to just shove his cart out of the way if you got the inside.
You would think it works like that, but I'll go through the aerodynamics of a fat person driving a cart some other time.
That's bullshit because I've won a lot of go-kart races when I've been the biggest person.
But go-karts love women.
I
have women flying by me. They're just, trust me. I don't know. It's probably my hair. I have way too much hair for aerodynamics.
Yes.
Drag, yeah. Should shave. I think that would be good.
Sure, that's it.
But that's interesting. That's back to your earlier point. So not, playing necessarily well with others in the sandbox. So, I come from an opposite place. I'm very coachable, trainable, and, do function well in a corporate environment. I was born an entrepreneur. You just know those things. So lemonade, Kool-Aid stand, anything to make a dollar. Blow pops at Costco, right? Selling those in school.
Yep.
Until, I got a report sent home. And actually was fortunate enough to own my own business for 5 years and then decided to move my family to the Carolinas. So I found myself back in, the corporate business, which I had been before being self-employed, and just prayed about it, dreamed about it. And, here we are today. 7 weeks in now at this point.
That's it?
Yeah,
7 weeks. It seems like a
started
lot
at
longer.
The greatest time to open up a business together.
Yeah,
But
no
you know
doubt.
what? That's going to be a great story in about 5 years.
Yeah.
The first person walks up to you guys to tell you how hard things are, you two are just going to lay into them.
Oh, and ironically, with State Farm, so before we actually ever met each other or knew each other, I had gone through their whole program. When I was in the bank, they had reached out similar way, LinkedIn. I went through the whole training program, and right as he had walked out on his agency and said, "Hey, I've had enough," the recruiter called and said, "Hey, we have an agency in Clayton. Do you want to, look at it?" And so, yeah, that was crazy. What are the odds, right?
I'm not going to comment.
Well,
Good thing I didn't go there.
That's right. Let's put it that way.
I always listen for a line to title the show, so I always wait for the guest. We wait for the guest to say something. So, do you play well with others in the sandbox? Title of this episode. But there's a lot to be said for that. The more small business owners we work with and come across, it's funny to see how they got to be a small business owner, because a lot of times nothing in their past told you they were going to own their own business, whatever it is. So it's funny how people end up. I mean, you got 6 small business owners in the room here. So
Absolutely.
What gets people to the same place? And again, what got you two to meet? Would you have met a year later? Would we have met a year later? If she doesn't join our BNI chapter, we likely may have never met.
Yeah, I wouldn't have met Mike if it wasn't for BNI, because as I was networking through the BNI universe, which is a pretty tight-knit community, everybody kept telling me, Mike Manning, have you met Mike Manning? Like, you have to meet Mike Manning. And I was like, who the hell is this guy, and why have I not met him yet?
You better be worth it.
Yes, right? Then I didn't know I'd wind up married to my work husband.
But and I'm a big point in time where a decision is made that people go this way, you meet a spouse, you get a job, all stuff like that. If the chapter, this is recorded, isn't it?
It is.
Let's just say if the realtor before her wasn't no longer in the chapter, if I said that correctly, she would have never been in it, and we likely would have never met. It's funny how, again, you go to a networking event and you run across, and all of a sudden you talk for 2 minutes and go, huh. So I love those moments in time that, again, my first job out of college was at the University of Texas. So I grew up in Raleigh, went to school at Tennessee. My first job's in Austin, Texas. And who did I meet there? My wife. Went to Texas in 83, left in 93 with a wife and 2 sons. So, I mean, who knew? So
That's awesome.
Love those stories.
And to toot your horn there, Miss Trinity, again, same thing with you, networking ninja. I mean, again, everybody's like, how do you not know Trinity? How do you not know Trinity? So, I mean, again, coming from what you said to Mike, everybody knows you in the community. So you're quite the networker yourself.
I believe in collecting good humans. And that is what I mean, you could put me in any industry as long as I can work based off of the relationships I have with others. And the reason that I absolutely love running a business and working by referral is because I get to choose the people that I surround myself with. The people that have the best attitudes. I'm a learner. I find that people that love to learn and love to read and love, their families, and these are the people that I'm just naturally gravitate to. And once I find those people, such as yourself, that I'm like, oh my gosh, I could sit down and have coffee with Scott and we could talk about life and business and things for hours on end if you let us, or if we had the time to do it. And that is one of the coolest things about being an entrepreneur, is that you get to pick who you work with and who you surround yourself with.
She's got 4 groups of people she's collected, so it's funny but you have to follow her. You got to know the nuances of her Facebook pages and what this group was this Friday night, and next week we're playing. What's the app on Zoom you guys do?
Oh, house party.
Yeah, house party with another group, and she collects people. She's honest about that.
And my wedding was the testament to the people that I collect. I love to introduce to each other because they would not have crossed paths for any other reason other than I'm the mutual connector point for them. And watching my multiple groups of friends and family and acquaintances and all come together and get along with each other, and now they're friends after getting to know each other. And really the only thing that they had in common was friendship with me.
There was the hippie group, the tattoo group, and the corporate group. And everybody just met at the pool. And, hey, how you doing? They're just laughing, having a drink, throwing to each other in the pool. It was
I know. You would think with as many friends and my family connection to, like, one of the best tattoo parlors in the world that I would have a tattoo.
I've never asked. I don't ask ladies certain questions. Age and tattoos, I don't.
I just don't think I could ever commit to choosing just one thing to put on my body because I would 3 months from now regret it.
Is it Dina?
Dina.
Yeah.
Dina
you don't want a sleeve or the leg or
I love her tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
I love looking at them, but man, I could just never do it.
Would your mom let you?
Yeah, they wouldn't care.
Her dad's a cool
Maybe
hippie.
earlier they would have.
But her dad walks her down the aisle. He's got the hat on and the jacket and the boots. He was sharp. It was a good look.
Because I think once you find that tattoo that means something to you,
that's right,
and you have to have it, that's when you get it. So, I mean, if you don't have one yet, it's just because you haven't gotten that one idea that you have to have on you.
That you have to have on your body.
Yeah. You need a honey badger one then.
See, but do I really want a honey badger tattooed on my body somewhere? No.
See, for me,
that would be so weird.
I've got the verse Joshua 24:15. So as for me and my family, we will serve the Lord. So it's just a constant reminder when I look at it, on what path I decide to go. So that's something that I want to be on my body.
Right.
So yeah, I think when it's time.
Yeah.
If you can find something significant enough to, it's like you said, it's a permanent thing, right?
Right.
So that's why I don't have one yet.
And when I commit to something, I commit 110%. So, that'd be scary. I almost got a tattoo in college, and I lived in Malaga, which is the city of fountains.
My grandson, if I did anything, it would be, but I don't know about faces on bodies.
Right? A picture of Oliver, and then how do you, you could always tattoo his birthday or something.
I could do that.
Yeah.
That's true. Because you'd have to change it quite a bit.
Right.
As he ages.
I don't know, man. He's not going to get much cuter than his now.
That's true. That's true.
But so 7 weeks. What have you learned?
Man, where do we start?
Give me 2. Let's just go. Okay, just in general, what have you learned working with someone?
Well, I think it's the same things that I've learned for being married for 20 plus years. And my wife is listening for 22 years. I just want to let you know I do know exactly how long I've been married. I think it's something where you do need to be able to communicate, and you do need to be able to give and take, and realize that you're two different people, both with really good things that you bring to this marriage or to this business. And I think that's probably the best thing that we've learned. Is, at least on my end, is my wife will admit I'm very difficult sometimes to work with. I'm very, this is what I'd like to do. Let's do it, and realizing sometimes that there are other opinions that need to go into it. So, but that's the cool thing about it, is that it does help you be better, and you just have to continue to keep working at it and communicate.
You and I are so similar. It's kind of freaky.
My way or no way, or
yes,
my way,
I'm like, it's like looking in a little mirror over here.
Right across from each other.
Yeah, we're sitting across each other. I'm like, oh,
probably fitting. It worked out.
Totally, you're speaking my language. It's
But
which is a good thing, but still.
It's just I understand
you
because
can have any opinion you want as long as it's mine.
Such a strength, but it's also like our greatest weakness is because it can be a blind spot by. Yeah. Going down and thinking that, oh, this is the best way. Sometimes I'll all of a sudden see somebody do something that, say it was like a little task that took me 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden they do it in like 30 seconds. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been wasting 4.5 minutes for my entire life because I just didn't open my eyes to the fact that there was a different, better way to do this.
Sure. But we do have a coach. So again, we decided very quickly, on that was necessary. So we do have a marriage counselor, if you will.
That's fantastic. I like that.
Better.
Weekly coaching sessions, and that's Brooke Swindle.
Oh,
Burns.
good.
Yes,
So
she's amazing.
She is amazing.
We love Brooke.
But it matters, right?
It does.
We each have one. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but it matters. But it's okay. And we try to tell people that you should have a coach. You should have a mentor, somebody you can call because, and all my analogies are sports related. See, Brady's got a quarterback coach.
What sports?
Yeah, really. Tiger, it'll come back one day and your kids will love it one day. So Brady's got a quarterback coach. Tiger's got a swing coach. Right, Serena's got a swing coach, right, or fitness coach. I've got nutritionists. Like, why would you not want to? It's
the most important thing. And then I've got Wulwyn Porte with Joseph Sullivan Management Consulting as my personal coach.
Yeah.
So,
and I did the webinar with him and Sarah the other day.
Yeah,
that was good.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah, I'd not met him before, virtually or in person. So, but he was good. That's some good stuff he was throwing out there. So,
well,
we got two of the best.
I am looking forward to talking more about all the other things you do for personal and professional development on our next episode, which hang in there with us because it's going to be a wild ride.
We thank Scott Rutter and Dyrke Maricle with Goosehead Insurance. You can go to Goosehead.
What's your website?
Gotthegoose.com.
Gotthegoose.com.
Oh, nice. Okay. I like the rebranding you guys are doing on this stuff. So gotthegoose.com. And you can write insurance in how many states?
Well, we can write through almost every single state through our partners, but we can personally write in Florida, Illinois, and North Carolina.
All right. So can you write in Europe? Because we're big in Europe.
We cannot write in Europe yet.
But
Not yet.
In the States, you can write?
We can write in the States.
Okay, folks, if you're listening, Got the Goose. These guys will shoot straight with you, and we'll see you next time on our Wired to Change podcast.